Hello and welcome to the Joy Corner. I'm Carol DeChaine, your intuitive spiritual guide for practical matters. And this is a mini lesson, so take what you need and just let go of the rest. Today, it's all about finding joy in your job or your career. And that may seem a little strange, but at least satisfaction. But finding joy in your job means that you don't mind going, not just that you don't mind going to work every day, but that you really enjoy going to work. You look forward to it. And not just because maybe you have a bad home life, but because you enjoy doing it. And it also means that you have a work life balance so that maybe you work 10-hour days, but then you're gone for 2 or 3 days because you really enjoy it. You want to find more joy in your life, and that's why you're listening. And maybe you're listening because you don't have joy in your job. I know I didn't. And so I had people who were fabulous people. They seemed wonderful. But when they became my boss, and so through different circumstances, they became someone who they weren't very kind. And so I started questioning myself. I didn't like going into work anymore. I never knew what was going to happen. I didn't know if I was going to get yelled at in publicly or not. And I was always told I was good at my job, so that was kind of a shock in the first place. But if you look at it, what is it about your job that you're listening to this video for? Where do you not find joy in it? Is maybe nothing. Maybe, I mean, I didn't mind what I did. I liked part of it quite a bit, and I liked the people that were not directly, above me. But I looked at it going, this is a lot of stuff to go through. This is not why I'm here. I'm at the age where I don't want to not enjoy myself. I want to find things that make me happy. So I have a lot of hobbies that make me happy. I have people in my life that I enjoy being around. But at that point, it wasn't necessarily the right space for me. And there's been some on and off that were you're just living. You're making a living so that you have, it wasn't like I was doing anything I and loved, but I liked the people and it was fine. I did that for 25 years. And then I moved on to another job because my bosses were retiring. And that's the one that kind of went south. And it was something that made me realize the universe is trying to tell me I need to change. And maybe that's what's happening to you as well. Maybe the universe is telling you, your inner self is saying, this isn't the right job for you. Or maybe it's just telling you you need to make some adjustments. You need to change departments. You need to go back to school so you can get that promotion. You need to do something different. Make sure that you look at the squeaky wheels. You look at them and you go, I hate the commute. Maybe I can work remotely a couple of days a week. I hate the fact that I'm being underpaid next to other people around me. So maybe you go ask for that raise because you know that's it. You can't live where you're at or you don't want to because it's not fair. You have been looked over for promotion a number of times. Whatever it is, make sure that if you do want a different job, that on your resume you put the things that show, even if it's not your job title that you've had, the things you've done might be related to that promotion. So put those things that you've done that show that you have initiative, that you do things that were above and beyond your pay grade, basically. I did that on mine, and it helped tremendously because it showed all the things I was willing to do, or I'd already done, should say, that might fit in with the new place, especially if you're looking for a higher job than where you were. And I was a legal secretary looking for a paralegal position, and I had gone to school and gotten my certificate, but I didn't work as a paralegal. At least I did, but not in name, only in actions. So I put all those things that I had done so that people could see who I was and what I could do. And I did get a really originally great job because I did that. So you have to just look at who are you, what do you want, and what do you dislike or not, care about at all about where you're at. Is it the boss? Is it the money? Is it the commute? Is it your coworkers? I've had that too, where I didn't care for the coworkers much, and in a small office, it's hard to get away from coworkers. So you try and see what you can do, how you can handle that. And then the next one I'm gonna talk about finding joy in relationships, and this is between work And home, I'm going to cover both of those, even though it's only a mini lesson. So you might want to listen again to the next one. It'll be out in 2 weeks. So unless you're listening to this after it's been put out, and then you can find it right away. So if you're looking at your job, where is it? Look at those squeaky wheels. And how can you adjust them? You don't necessarily need to get a brand new job. But what does joy look like for you in your job? It should look like you enjoy going to work. You are at least where you don't mind leaving the house because you're going, I really like to do that. And what I found now that I've shifted is that I work remotely. I found people who appreciate me and what I do, which was amazingly fabulous. And I do numbers because part of me is spiritual, part of me, I mean, you have all those balances. I do theater for my creative side and singing. I do some crafting. I have a dog, so he's really, makes me get outside to do more physical stuff. But I do different things for different parts of my personality that feeds my soul. And for work, I love the commute. I get up, I take the dog for a walk, I come back in, do feed him, do a few other things, get dressed, and then I walk over to my office and I work from there. And it's fabulous because I enjoy what I do most of the time. There's a couple things once in a while that are like, because things don't balance and that's annoying. But the difference is huge. And I love getting up to go work. I don't mind working at all now, 2, 3 hours every morning. And sometimes I work in the afternoon for another 2, 3 hours. You can only do numbers for so long before your brain goes wonky. I don't know how accountants do it. But so I'm looking at the difference. And the difference is huge because when I send stuff, I always get, oh my God, thank you so much. You're so great. And it's like, oh, well, thank you very much. I love hearing that. It's so good to be appreciated. And that's the thing many people don't do. Even in life, they don't do it, but bosses don't do it. And some bosses should never be bosses, or at least they shouldn't be HR people. So, especially any lawyers, if you've ever worked for them, 99% of them should never be HR people. But they're good, perhaps, maybe, as bosses. So you'll find different people. I mean, some people will rip you apart. And who wants to go there? Whoever wants to go work for somebody like that? It makes you try harder, but it's mostly based on fear. And why would you want to go there? Yeah, you need the money. Why would you want to go there? So, to find the joy in your job, look at what's missing and look at what you want. So, that's two different sections. What's missing? What is the squeaky wheel? What do you actually want? If you have a 2 hour commute and you're going, I don't want to, or maybe you don't travel at all and you stay in your desk all the time at home and you really want to go out and be around people, or you really want to go traveling with a job because you want while you're available, while you can. Either your home life is not good or else you're single and it's a good time to travel. So look at what you want and what you don't want and see what you can do about each one of those items. If you need to change jobs, look around. Go to school if you need to. Whatever you need to do in order to find more joy where you are. Life is too short to hate where you are all the time, to dislike the people you're with, to go through life in just an awful place where you're being abused or you're being spoken down to or you shrink into yourself and you don't speak your truth because you're afraid to say anything. Every time you do, somebody jumps all over you, whether that's home or work. So look at what you need, honestly, because that's what I did. I said, I want somebody who appreciates me. I don't like the fact nobody appreciates me. I don't like the fact people are talking down to me. I don't like the fact that what I used to do isn't working anymore. I don't like being yelled at in public. I don't want, I want to know what my job actually is because it got very confusing after a while. And so now I know exactly what I do. When I didn't like the commute because it was across a bridge in the Bay Area in San Francisco, so that could take anywhere from an hour for a 20-minute drive to 2 or 3 hours, depending on the day, especially on the way home. So I didn't, all those things were what I didn't like. Now I have no commute. Well, I have to walk, however many feet. I have people who appreciate me. I have things I do that I really enjoy doing, which I know I'm weird. I like numbers, but to a certain extent. Don't like math, but I like numbers. So, all those things I didn't like, I found a way to shift it. It took a few years, and it may, but just hang in there because if you go at it and figure out what you don't like, what you do want, it'll work for you. And then you have to take the steps, but do the little steps, do the baby steps if you have to, because quitting your job abruptly is difficult for most of us. I've done it once. It was It was a very big relief to get rid of the job that was awful back when I was really young. But then I had no job. So that was a little scary. And that I don't recommend that for everybody. It's great to have a plan, whatever the plan may be, and not just quit your job. But sometimes you get up to here and you go, that's it, I'm done, I'm leaving. And that's what I did. One day I walked in and said, I'm done. And then my brain went, what did I just do? Oh my God. I wasn't raised to just quit a job without having something as a backup. This isn't good for me. But the relief was amazing. So sometimes you have to do that sort of thing. But you don't, let's just say I don't recommend it unless you really feel you have to, because getting rid of the toxic environment is hugely important. And sometimes you need to do that before you can move forward. But it's really nice to be able to have a plan and actually have somewhere to go when you do say, I can't live here anymore. I can't work here anymore. This is not working for me. I don't like it. And don't necessarily burn your bridges if you hate where you're at. Be kind to the people. And if they do an exit interview, you can always say, it was kind of toxic for me personally. I just can't handle it. So I found somewhere that hopefully will be better. Um, you don't need to say that. I just said I'm retiring early because and my sister has Alzheimer's. I want to drive the 3.5 hours up to where she lives and visit more often. And that was all true, but I would have worked at least another couple of years if I hadn't had that toxic work environment. So look at it. Can you adjust it where you're at? Can you just tweak things? Ask for more stuff. Ask to work home and have a little less, more remote, less driving. Ask for that salary increase. Ask for that promotion. Ask if it's even possible. If they think you're even, or what you have to do to get a promotion. If you're at a kind of workplace that promotions work. When I'm as a paralegal, I'm kind of stuck where I'm at, but I could have worked from a different person. I'm in a niche market now, so not too many people know how to do what I'm doing, and I really like what I'm doing. So you might be able to do something like that. I'm a contractor. I work for one main person and like 4 or 5 others as well that I've worked for over the time. Because if you're good, people will start putting your name out there, and you'll get more and more clients. So just know that you don't have to stick with things that don't feel good for you. You don't have to be somewhere and go, I hate this. You don't have to be there. There are ways around it. You are not stuck. Don't let yourself feel like you're stuck. And not just stuck in a rut, but stuck as in you have no other options. There are always a million options out there. But you have to look for them, you have to plan for them, and you have to see them clearly that they are options. And that can be tough when we think we're stuck. Just know you can do whatever you need to do to find that joy, at least to find satisfaction in what you're doing, and to look forward to going to work to a certain extent at least, so that you aren't going, oh, I have to go to work again in the morning, rather than, oh, yeah, it's work tomorrow. You don't have to go, yay, it's work tomorrow. But find something you love. And I always thought I wanted to do something like bridal planning, event manager, because then I thought, oh, I'll be at the best, people having the best time. And it's like, there's a lot of work with that. I did a little bit of event planning on just a couple of things and went, I'm great with organization, but I don't want to deal with these really mean people. They're bridezillas are called bridezillas for a reason, and it's not always the bride that's the bridezilla. It can be the maid of honor or the groom or usually that's not them, but it can be other people, the mother-in-law, the whoever that comes up, or you know, there are people that definitely aren't happy, and you just need to find where you can be. And some people are great at handling those kind of people for whatever, wherever you're at, and that's fabulous. More power to you. It's like hospice work. I don't think I could handle it. My heart couldn't take watching people die all the time, even though you're helping people through that. But thank God there are people out there. And that brings them peace, and they feel like they're doing a huge gift for people, and they are. But I don't think I can do that. Actually, I know I can't do that, at least not on a regular basis. So look at what you're good at. Look at what brings you and maybe the people around you joy, and find a way to follow that. Find a way to make what you're doing or a brand new thing work for you. You deserve it. You deserve that joy. And no matter what anybody says, it might be a little hard for a year or two. You never know. But you could go right into whatever you want. You can make shifts where you're at. Every situation is unique, but you can figure it out and you can do it. Find that joy. You absolutely 100,000% deserve it. Until next time, thanks for joining me. Again, my name is Carol DeChaine, and I am here every week. Come out every Sunday, every other week right now for the mini lesson in the Joy Corner, and then on the odd weeks or the other weeks, it is my podcast archives, which came out back in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, I think. So I'm putting those back out again because it feels like it's time to let those re release in this way. Thank you so much again for joining me. Until next time.